Hello everyone. Today I will be explaining the lesson Muscular Tissue Moves the Body. I am Yasmin Al-Jundi from 11th grade from Dubai National School, and let's get started. First of all, I will be explaining my table of contents, which is a way I used to divide this lesson into four main parts so that it can be easy to understand and helpful for who is watching. The first point will be an overview, which is an overview of the muscular tissue in a general way, of course. The second point will be the skeletal muscle, which is an overview of the skeletal muscle and its properties. Same for the smooth muscle and for the cardiac muscle. So let's start by asking the main question of this lesson. Which body tissues are responsible for movement? Of course, we're going to be answering this question at the end of this lesson, so stick up so that you can know the answer for this question. Let's start with the overview. Muscular tissue. Muscular tissue is specialized to contract, and it's where cells that are called the muscle fibers which contain, of course, actin and myosin filaments, which are accounts for movement. Muscular tissues has three main types that we are going to be speaking about today. The first type is the skeletal muscle, the second type is the smooth muscle, and the third and final type is the cardiac muscle, which we'll of course be discussing in much greater details in the following slides. Let's start with a kind of a general speaking about each muscle. First of all, we have the skeletal muscle, which moves bones and other structures. We have the smooth muscle, which forms organs like the stomach and the bladder and changes shape to facilitate the body functions. So it changes shape according to the body's function to help coordinate with it. And finally, the cardiac muscle, which contracts the heart to pump the blood, which of course the cardiac muscle has a very specific kind of a function, which we'll be talking about more specifically in the following slides. Let's start with the skeletal muscle. The skeletal muscle is attached to the bones of the skeleton by tendons, and the contraction moves the skeleton, which therefore moves the skeletal muscles. It's voluntarily controlled and faster than other muscle types, so it's faster than the other two muscle types. The muscle fibers are cylindrical and very long. Of course, we can see that in the picture that I attached right here. They are very long and can run the entire length of the muscle. So they can run the entire length of the muscle. They are very, very long and cylindrical. That's how they are described, of course, as we can see in the picture. And they have a multiple nucleus, which we can see right here in the photo. They are labeled. There are multiple nucleus, and these are the striations, which are, of course, as I said, long cylindrical and very long muscle fibers. And here, of course, we're describing them even more. They are strained or stripped in appearance due to the placement of the actin and the myosin filaments. So as we can see, they are like stripped and strained, and they are very familiar to the eye. So I don't think it's hard for anyone to recognize the skeletal muscle, and it occurs in muscles that are attached to the skeleton, and its functions is voluntary in the body movement. So they help in the body movement in a voluntary way. And it occurs again, as I said, in muscles attached to the skeleton. So, and it has, as I said, again, straighted cells with multiple nuclei. So that's a little bit an overview on the skeletal muscle. Moving on, we're going to be talking about the smooth muscle. The smooth muscle, on the other hand, unlike the skeletal muscle, has no striations. And as we can see, of course, right here in the picture, no striations. It's very different from the skeletal muscle. That's why I said it's easy to identify the two types from one another. It has a spindle-shaped cell with only one nucleus. So there is like one nucleus, and it's spindle-shaped, as we can see, and it is involuntarily controlled. So as we said before, the skeletal muscle is voluntarily controlled because it's attached to the skeleton, so we are able to control the muscle. But on the other hand, the smooth muscle is involuntarily controlled because it we can't control the movement or the acting of the smooth muscle due to its placement in the body. It's found because, as I'm going to complete right now, it's found in the walls of the. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce this word properly, but is the viscera, I want to say, or the intestine and bladder. That's how I memorize it usually. The intestine and the bladder, and the blood vessels, which again are things that aren't controlled by the human body. So that's why it's involuntarily controlled. They contract more slowly than skeletal muscles, which I think is quite logical because um, they are more related to the intestine and the bladder and the blood vessels, which definitely are slower than the skeletal muscles, but can remain contracted for a longer time. Again, your intestine, your bladder, your blood vessels do need a longer time of contraction than your skeletal muscles. So again, it does make sense. As we can see right here, it has a spindle-shaped cells, which with each one has a nucleus. Cells have no striations, functions in movement of substances in the lumens of the body. Again, it's involuntary and is found in blood vessels and walls of the digestive tract. So, as we can see right here in the photo. Now, let's talk about the cardiac muscle. The cardiac muscle is found only in the walls of the heart. So the cardiac muscle is quite simple, in my opinion, because you are attached to the heart in this topic because it's only found in the walls of the heart. Its contraction pumps blood and accounts for the heartbeat. So its contraction helps with the accounts for the heartbeat. It's strained, as we can see, so it's quite similar, in my opinion, to the skeletal muscle a little bit. I think they are closer to each other than the smooth muscle. It's involuntarily, of course, because we can't control our heartbeat. That's impossible. Single nucleus, as you can see, single nucleus, and cells are branched and seemingly fused together. And the cells are contracted by the intricated discs. As we can see, they look like intricated discs that are stuck to one another. And they have, again, one nucleus. And they, as we can see, these are the intricated discs which connect them to one another. And yes, it's involuntarily, again, as I said, because we cannot control the heartbeat of the or the pumping of the blood to the heart, of course. And I find it quite similar to the skeletal muscle, but not really. Don't take it that seriously. Has branching, again, with straight cells, each with a single nucleus, occurs in the wall of the heart, and the function is for pumping blood, and of course, it's involuntarily. So that's the last and final part of the body, or of the muscle types. And I just want to say how awesome the human body is. It's so intricate and so detailed. We are discussing such a small topic when it comes to the hugely detailed body of the human beings. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this brief but very, I think, understandable summary for the three types of the muscles and the muscle fibers. And thank you for watching this video. And if you have any questions, my email is here and you can contact me. Thank you again for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed and learned something new. Thank you very much and have a nice day.